to pulling off the win as the Beavers take over the Carleton Knights.
The 2003-2004 was an amazing team, but before they were great, that senior class was 9-19 as sophomores, 19-9, then 27-3. And the three losses their senior year were to Morningside, the eventual NAIA national champ, Loris, who we lost to in overtime, and to Puget Sound, who we lost to in the Sweet 16 by 4 points. We had a great starting lineup. Amy Magers, who was considered one of the greatest power forwards in the country that year, Kelly Taylor, who was, in my opinion, one of the greatest competitors in the country, Christina Kapler, who could not only rebound it but could score it, Katie McGuire, who had a handle, quickness, and could score, and Megan Holtorf, who was one of the smartest players and rarely made a mistake. Coming off the bench, we had players like Jess Griggs, Kelly Staley, Holly McDonough, Lindsay Stuhlman, Jenny DeWall, and Tracy Hartwig. But the only way you become great is you have to have people to go against in practice every day. So people like Crystal Richardson, Crystal Kruger, Penny Heitman, Jolene Bossum, Lindsay Meyer, Yvanka Russ, and Tia Moore came to practice every single day and made us better. When I look back at that season, 3 games come to mind. The first one is the Central game when we played them the second time. If we won that game, we would win the conference title. We'd have a share of it, and we would win it early. We had a 2-game lead going into that game. We never talked about it with our team. We never even discussed it. And it was a dogfight that night. It was back and forth the whole night, and somehow we held on for a 1-point victory. Walking to the locker room, I barely made it. I was weak in the knees. I was so excited and just so relieved that we had clinched that title. And to open up that locker room door and to share that joy with that team was amazing. Well, we rolled through the conference tournament and we come to Wartburg, our arch rival. We're playing them for the 3rd time that year. And I have to say, we kicked their ass. So much so that we got to take our starters out at the end of that game to thunderous applause. I have a picture, it is one of my all-time favorite pictures of taking people out, and there is a stack of people behind us cheering these people, getting the recognition that they had earned. But a game that I will remember for the rest of my life is our Carleton game. It was the second round of the NCAA tournament. We were hosting Carleton, who was ranked 3rd in the country. We shouldn't have even got to host them, but kind of a fluke, we did get to host them. They came in here, and as we were warming up, this Siemens Fieldhouse behind me was filling up. And I mean filling up. Back and forth the game went all the way through, but with 3 minutes to go, Carleton started to pull away, and we found ourselves down by 6 points. But we hit a bucket, and the crowd started to come alive. And then we hit another bucket. We've all heard of Hild Magic, but we had Siemens Magic that day. We went from being down 6 to all of a sudden we were tied, a little over 2 minutes to go. And that crowd put us on its back, literally put us on its back and took us home. Not only did we win that game, but we won by 8 points. 14 points in the last 3 minutes of that game we made up. It was absolutely incredible. We rode a wave that was amazing. Great teams can only be great, again, with support. Had 2 outstanding assistants in my husband, Steve Wiener-Berry, and Amy Sanders. We also had a student assistant in Audrey Montag, and 2 administrators in Jan Travis and Jen Thompson, who were behind us and were just made my life very, very easy. We had an athletic trainer and Danielle Smith, who took great care of our athletes. But we also had our families. Our families, you were so supportive of us through the thousands of miles you literally traveled, to the hundreds and hundreds of dollars you spent. You were with us every single step of the way. I know personally, I had 2 little boys in the stands. The Berry boys, you were their heroes. And you weren't just their heroes. You were a lot of kids' heroes in this town. I mean, my goodness, Kelly Taylor had a cow named after her at the local county fair. I guarantee you, Amy Magers never bought a drink at Puff's that whole season. You were big deals well before social media was a thing. I am so grateful to each and every one of you that I got to be along for that journey. I want you to all know how much I love you and how proud I am of how much you have gone on in the last 20 years and have contributed to your communities, to your workforce, and to your families. You have gone on and done some amazing things. I also want you to know that once a Beaver, always a Beaver, and welcome to the Buena Vista Hall of Fame.